Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Atlanta Falcons Today. We're up early on a Saturday because you need to get some reaction to the Falcons' win over the Detroit Lions in their opening preseason game up there in Michigan. I really want to focus in on winners and losers. We'll start with a broad picture. We'll talk about the Drake London injury as well. I'm going to give you 3 winners though, 3 losers though, and kind of break down who I thought impressed and it was a little underwhelming for the Falcons' first preseason game. Disclaimer, side note, it's one preseason game, so everything we talk about here must be taken with a grain of salt because you're going to only really break down so much from the first of 3 preseason games after these guys have not played actual meaningful football in months and months and months and months. So there's your disclaimer. Take for it as you will. Okay, so first off, obviously the broad picture, Falcons did win. Nice turnover there caused by the defensive line to go and get the football back, and then Desmond Ridder, who played a ton in this football game, throwing the touchdown pass to beat the Detroit Lions 27-23. I think it's their first preseason win. It's either 2018 or 2019. Like, TikTok had not been invented the last time the Atlanta Falcons won a preseason game. Again, not that it matters, but it's nice to see a football team actually win here in the ATL. The big news is obviously Ridder. We'll talk about Ridder here in just one second, but I want to first really dive into the Drake London injury, which was an absolute bummer and scared a lot of Falcon fans last night. Now, I'm filming early on a Saturday, so we don't know the extent of this injury yet, although the reporting last night is that they don't think it's going to be serious, but they didn't think Mekhi Becton's injury with the Jets was serious until it actually was. So, by the time you watch this, maybe it's bad, maybe it's good, we don't know, but the initial stuff is saying that it doesn't look too good, or it doesn't look too bad. Now, in my opinion, my take on this is very, very simple. They need Drake London. Did you watch the receivers after Drake London left the game? It's nothing to be very impressed about. I mean, you talk about Auden Tate, you talk about Qadree Ollison, I mean, you talk about Bird, like there just isn't anybody that even comes close to being exciting. I know Brian Edwards obviously didn't play, but it wasn't a great overall receiving core after him, and so they really, really need to hope that London is going to be okay. Now, again, there were some ups and downs from Atlanta in this game, and I think we're going to dive more into this here when we get into the winners and losers, but I liked what I saw overall. I think the biggest disappointment was the defense on that first drive, and they're obviously one of my losers here. We'll talk about the front 7 in a second, but I think that you just saw some of those typical gashing plays that just killed the Falcons last year, and that was really supposed to be the fix. It's like Dink Peeves is going to make this defense better, and I know they don't have a lot of talent, but still, you would think that they wouldn't be gashed so hard by the Lions, who, listen, aren't a bad football team. They have a decent offensive line. They have weapons on the outside. They have 2 running backs that are really good, including maybe fantasy specialist DeAndre Swift, who was great last year for my fantasy football team. But I do think that opening drive for the defense was the most worrying thing that I saw. But there were plenty of ups too, which we'll get into in just one second. All right, add great pin comments down below. Let's get this party started. Grade the Falcons' performance versus the Lions. A, B, C, D, or F. How do you feel about it? I think we give it a B+. I think we saw some good things, but that opening drive with the defense gave me just horror flashbacks of the Falcons not being able to stop anybody last year. And so, we'll see how the roller coaster rides the next couple of preseason games, but that would be my big worry, hence my grade being in the kind of B category. All right, our first winner last night, it's obvious, it's Desmond Ridder. Ridder, take away a couple of the throws, and obviously, you got the jitters, you got to play your first NFL game, you're wearing a Falcons logo, your name's on the back of a jersey, like, that's going to happen for rookie quarterbacks. I like the poise, though. He looked so calm. He looked so confident in the pocket, and that doesn't always happen from rookie quarterbacks. It doesn't happen from second-year quarterbacks. Sometimes these guys, they just look like deer in headlights, and you see that a lot with third-string quarterbacks, especially in these preseason games, but Ridder looked very, very, very poised. I thought he had a great touchdown pass, especially the second one. The first one was good as well. I think the big takeaway here is that Mariota is not going to keep his job as long as I thought. And listen, Marcus Mariota, we can switch to him right now. I don't think he was bad. Saw some mobility there, but he was also kind of reckless running the football, and that's kind of what's gotten him into trouble with injuries the past couple of years. I think that we're going to see a Ridder takeover midway through the season. And I thought there was a chance that Mariota was going to start the entire year, and he still might. All that matters if he's winning or not, but if they start losing, they're going to put in Desmond Ridder a lot sooner than you think, and I think he's going to be a lot more ready than people realize, especially just from his poise and calmness in the pocket. How would you rate Ridder's performance? Scale of 1 to 10. I think it was pretty good. I think it was like a 7 or an 8. I think it was definitely a thumbs up, at least. You guys should thumb the video up as well. But I think it was pretty good from what I saw and gives me a lot of hope that he could be the future of the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, next winner had to be Qadree Ollison. I think Ollison very much looked like a legit NFL running back. Something he's not looked like the first couple of years in the National Football League. I think overall the running game looked strong. I thought there were some really good instances, especially on those opening drives where Damian Williams had some nice runs, Ollison had some nice runs, and the offensive line opened up a couple of holes. Now, Algier, He wasn't as impressive as I would have liked, and he didn't get many touches, and so you can't only do so much with Tyler Rozier. I would have liked to see him run a little bit more, but they obviously might be saving him because they can realize that he actually can play a lot during the regular season. But I think the big takeaway and a big winner for me was the running game. I think Ollison is going to have a spot on this roster, and that was something that you weren't sure of when they brought Adrian Williamson over from the defensive side of the football. That is good news. If they can have any sort of semblance of a run game, they've lacked that the past couple of years, you at least can make the defense a little bit more honest, suck those linebackers up a little bit more, and maybe create some passing lanes to Kyle Pitts, and obviously, hopefully, in Drake London. If you guys love what you saw from around the running games, give this video a thumbs up. You guys know I did. I thought it was really, really good. Let's try and get at least 100 likes on today's video. Give this video a thumbs up if you're pumped from what you saw from parts of the Falcons last night. And while you're down there, just below the like button, you guys should subscribe to the channel. We're approaching 8,000 subscribers here on Atlanta Falcons Today, and so if you guys appreciate what we do early on a Saturday morning working for you, go down below and hit that red button. Okay, final winner, and this one, I felt like Twitter didn't talk about it a lot. Arnold Ebiketie was all over the field. He was all over the backfield last night. He looked absolutely fantastic. They got a stud in this outside linebacker, DN pass, whichever you want to call him, a Dean Pease's defense. Either way, more on him in a second, but he looked really, really good. If you guys do feel confident in the Falcons, you know, you got some interesting games coming up here, especially in the regular season. You can bet on the Falcons with our friends at BetUS. Chatsports.com/BetFalcons is the link that you need. Use our promo code Falcons125. Get a 125% deposit bonus whenever you first sign up and place some bets on the Atlanta Falcons. You guys can do that right now. Again, BetUS is the place to go because you get that deposit bonus, which turns your $100 deposit into $225 to do whatever you want with it. So jump into the betting game with BetUS. Again, Ebiketie was kind of this guy who you really hope is going to pop this year, but a lot of second round pick pass rushers don't do much their first year. He looks at least physically ready, and that's a big one. There are times where pass rushers are a little bit undersized. They need to bulk up. They don't have all the moves in their, in their repertoire. He looked really, really ready to play a bunch for the Falcons. I think he will. I see him as maybe a six sack guy this year, ceiling maybe 8, but he was very promising, and they might have finally found a decent pass rusher to work along that defensive line. All right, let's go ahead and get to the losers. I mentioned this earlier, the wide receivers. I think that the Falcons receiving core looked rough. I think that besides Drake London, who had a nice 28-yard, crosser route from Mariota, and then he got hurt, there's not much there. And I know it's not the full guys, and I know that they didn't work Kyle Pitts as much, and so that'll kind of factor into it. I'm not saying abandon ship on this offense in terms of passing the football, but it just... those backup guys are backup guys for a reason. They're brought in because no other team really wanted them. And I think the receiver core looked rough. I think that they're going to be bad this year. And I could see Atlanta 100% going out and drafting a high, first or second round draft pick on another receiver in 2023. Okay, I don't want to just get into clumping all these groups together, but I got to mention my next loser has got to be the front seven. I mean, the front seven got torched on that first drive. That is your starting front seven minus, maybe a couple of guys out of there. I think Troy Anderson was obviously not there, but he had made a big difference last night. I don't know. But that offensive line was working the D-line, and they've created some big-time running lanes and some really good pocket presence, or pocket, safety for Jared Goff, and I think that is my biggest concern from this entire game. And I think that there was good things. I think Atlanta's not going to be a 2-win football team next year. I think they can win some football games, but that front seven has got to do something, or they're just going to get torched, and they're going to have to score a bunch of points to be even in these football games. And so my big concern from the night was probably the front seven. I'll do a little combo winner-loser here to end. We'll put the loser as Jaylen Mayfield. He wasn't terrible, although be it with the second-string guys, but it was very, very clear that he has lost his starting left guard job, and rightfully so. I mean, he wasn't great last year, and so there was the hope that maybe he could be better. Maybe Wilkinson was going to push him to possibly win the starting job. Maybe he can move back to his normal position at right tackle. That's not happened, and so in the end, Wilkinson is going to be your starting left guard. He looked really good, or at least a lot better than Mayfield did last year, and so Mayfield, a guy who was very much in an open battle, seemingly is losing that fight, and he had not started hardly at all in any of the training camp snaps. It's been Elijah Wilkinson the entire time, which is good news for Falcon fans, but bad news for a guy like Mayfield who is losing a starting job after being, a decently early pick just last year and then getting thrust into the starting role and not playing well. So I guess good news for the Falcons because he wasn't that great, but bad news overall for Mayfield. All right, Landon, a question for you guys. Name the biggest winner and loser down in the comment section. Who was the biggest winner and loser from last night's game against the Detroit Lions? Let me know who that is. I think Ridder obviously is a massive winner. I think Falcon fans feel at least a lot better than they did when they drafted him. Although a lot of people liked him, but it was like, how ready is he? The confidence, right? right? The yen, the namaste, you know, if you like right here, it's like, oh, he looked really, really confident and really, really calm overall, and that is good news for Falcon fans. All right, before we go ahead and end, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Plenty more Falcon content coming up over the next couple of days and weeks. And make sure, this is important, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe and give this video a thumbs up as well, as we're working here early on a Saturday morning. For Atlanta Falcons Today, I'm your host, Thomas Mott, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.